Okay, everyone, we're back. Hello. Here, I'll talk right into the mic right here. We're back.
Soft and sibilant.
Sibilance. All right. So don't blame me. All right. So I guess we'll just go right back into it.
Yeah.
Give it just a brief moment. So you sit in the room for probably about another, I don't know, it feels like about maybe an hour. You're not exactly really sure of time in this space, but it's enough time for you to eat enough that you're no longer full, drink enough that you're no longer thirsty. Your stomach kind of hurts because you feel as though you probably overate a little bit. But overall, you're feeling a little bit better. You're not feeling quite as worn out. Still a little bit tired. But they left some basically drink on the table that seems to be made up of some sort of tea that did help to kind of give you a little bit of energy back. Yeah. Is there anything on the table that you would avoid eating? Or are you pretty much just going to eat whatever's put in front of you at this point?
Once I determined there was quality in food, I wouldn't abstain from anything in particular.
Okay.
Except sweet cakes.
Also, during the time that you're there, do you try opening the Lambert door again?
Not if like Dunwall was around.
Okay. Well, I mean, no one's in the room, but there's also the possibility that they could be watching. So probably not.
No.
Okay.
Not until I felt like it was ready that we could actually give him actual information.
Okay. So you begin hearing from the other room Viola's voice. I mean, and so obviously she's back again, but they're all talking in some other language that you don't quite make out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, although, what are your languages? Because some languages have sort of spilled over now since all this has happened.
Oh, have they?
Well, the languages that you chose aren't necessarily ones that you had to begin with.
I chose Aslanti and Common, but I can look upon other languages if they're
No. I just want to know what you have in there.
Oh, okay, sorry.
What have you got? You might as well look there, Luke. You may have to look in another tab to look at that.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
Oh, here, I know where it is.
All special abilities?
I think it's under skills.
Oh.
Maybe not.
Spells.
It's under personal or background.
Personal or background, which one?
Both, I think.
There we go. Aslanti, Common, and Elven.
Okay.
Common, Draconic, Skull, and Verizon.
Okay. So, all right. No, none of you know what they're saying, unfortunately. And a little while after you hear her voice, the door kind of slides open further, and she kind of peeks her way into the room and kind of looks at each of you and just steps in. Have all of you eaten? Good. How are you feeling as far as rest?
Pretty good.
All right.
Awake?
Then come with me. And she goes up to that other door that was in the room with you. Not the hidden one, but the other one. Opens it up and steps through. And as you follow her into that room, you see that it's some kind of armory.
Okay.
Oh, I like this part.
If we're going to have you continue out into the city... By the way, before we continue on, Luke, do you want to talk about what you're wearing currently?
No,
I mean, I just realized we kind of came right back into the stream and
my
never
thought
mentioned,
was-
like, Luke's wearing a costume.
My thought was we would play this entire segment and not say a word.
Oh,
And then we'd go into the
I
next segment
just
and I would
ruined
suddenly
it.
out of it.
I just
and then
ruined
not
it.
say a word the whole time.
I'm sorry.
Way to go, Jamin.
I know.
This is, I decided to adopt it so it would be more like what Dark Parna would wear. If you envision, rather than using actual pieces, instead just like darkness flowing back and off of the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a costume. I hope my brother's not watching because he's not supposed to know about this yet. Of a character in League of Legends for the League of Legends costume party on October 31st. So
Nice. Wait, you're going to a League of Legends costume party?
yeah, my brother's putting one on in Green Bay.
Very cool.
So
All right, so we'll get back into it. I'm sorry. I thought I should
Yeah.
just like address the elephant or golden costume in the room.
that's okay.
Way
better than an elephant.
So she takes you in the room, and as you kind of walk in, it's not like a particularly like well-stocked armory, but there's a number of different basic weapons, a few pieces of armor, things like that upon the
Any
walls.
spike chain?
What's that?
Any spike chain? Oh well.
Spike chain is super sweet.
And she just, as you're kind of like stepping in and looking around, she's just sort of looking up at each of them, looking at each of you. She looks at you first, grabs 2 daggers, kind of pulls them out, and hands you the handles. And as did you grab onto them?
Yeah, making like
And
a
they-
weird, like, I don't know, you're giving.
As
like,
soon as they put in your hands,
Yeah.
you just kind of like, you kind of flip them over, like almost like absentmindedly, like checking the weight on them.
Those instincts.
They're the weapons that your instincts are going to know how to use best.
I see.
But also be careful in using them. Only use what already you have learned. Do not allow any additional information, power, anything else to come in. Understood? I want to make certain that it's very clear. Especially from a person that could kill anyone here in merely a second.
Right. It's hard to say don't learn anything because you already can see better, hear better. You can do all of these things already.
Right.
Like, I can't fathom more things that I could do.
It's true because you only kind of watch from the sidelines of your other half going, and even then you kind of drifted away.
Right.
Yeah,
I
you have
can't
no
fathom
idea.
anything beyond the things that I was like, yeah, I just know how to pick this lock. It's fine.
But the
So-
daggers feel like they feel good enough weight. Like
Yeah.
somehow you know that. And you kind of like, do you try thrusting or moving with them or anything? Or
I don't know if I'm comfortable with that yet. I mean, they feel nice,
right.
but I'm still like, what am I doing here? I don't really want to tempt myself. Like, you just gave me weapons in my hands.
Right.
They feel really nice.
Mhm.
And I don't really know anything about you, so I'm
Do you
just
wanna-
refraining.
Do you want to toss me a sense motive there, Krista?
Right, like, I'm like, oh wait, but I have, you just gave me things that I could just kill you completely with, so I'm not gonna do
I want to
that.
do sense motive on Viola and her.
Okay. Well, Viola first.
Okay, Viola first. Great. I think that's gonna be a 13. No, it's gonna be an 8.
Nice.
Screen.
Oh, right. Let's cam it up. Actually, let's put on map tools. There we go.
Is that in the camera?
8
8. All right.
on Viola.
Yeah, nothing.
Alrighty. And Christiana. Go figure. 21.
21. All right. It's pretty obvious. She seems terrified of the daggers.
Okay.
Right, you just gave me tools of death.
She also hands you the belt with the belt scabbard. She pulls off pieces of like leather and starts kind of putting them up against your arm, like she's checking them out, and then like pulls some of the straps and then like puts them back up again. Basically, she's measuring out for a suit of leather armor.
Okay.
And she just kind of starts handing you the pieces, like you're supposed to know how to put it on. And in your mind, as you're kind of going, I have no idea how to do this, you're looking at each of the straps, and it's like, that strap goes there, like A and B, like, it's like,
Right.
like suddenly in your head, you can kind of see, like, how, like you just absentmindedly, like, put one on, strap it in, and it's on. Like, you've done this
Yeah, this
many
isn't
times
very
before.
comfortable for me, Viola.
She stops. I know it may not be very comfortable for you. It's not exactly the most comfortable thing for me either.
Right.
But where we're going, I can't have you tagging along and not be able to take care of yourself.
Okay.
We still need to go to the academy.
Mhm.
And I still need you to look as best as you can the part. For years, every time any one of you has woken up and realized what has been going on, regained a memory, anything of that nature, their plan A has always been, set that stuff down for a moment. Come with me. She goes back out, goes over to the other door that you had opened, presses on it. Door kind of slides back. Lambert comes running up to the cell again,
Yeah.
and he sees Viola. You know, when the first guard finds out what you've done, you're going to... And she's just walking past him as he's talking. And she's just like, this way. And she takes you to the other cell, the one where you saw the kind of claw. She reaches over onto the wall, and there's like just a rod. It's like a long rod, okay? And it doesn't look like much of anything. It just looks like a piece of wood with a bit of metal at the end of it. I would like to introduce each and every one of you to your warden. And as you kind of step in and look into the cage,
Sorry,
you
Lucas
see
just realized.
you see that there's it's like a long armed kind of claws at the end, gray skin that comes up, and there's almost, for you guys, the best way to describe it would be the grays, the aliens, the gray aliens, kind of that sort of a head, except like no mouth.
Okay.
Or at least not
Like
one
a
you can
silence?
see. Yeah. And she reaches out with the pole towards it, and you see like electricity flies off of it, and the thing sort of judders a bit, and you see that its shape alters. And it becomes this man with a beard that you remember as a small child being there, like kind of watching over your rooms when you were sitting in an inn. And the face also, like not just the face that you see coming there, but the face you're seeing right now also comes to you. Like suddenly you're back at that inn. You're sitting in your bed. You're realizing, somehow you realize what was going on, or at least some part of what was going on, that your mother, that you were kidnapped. Part of it was what Parno found out in the library. Well, both of you found out, because at that point, you knew she was a Wasserman, or Wassenberg, sorry. You knew that she was one of them. They gave you, they handed you the information on the different Pathfinders. They had 3 named Viola. And you remember realizing in your mind, you're not sure what caused it, but something clicked. That part seems lost. But it's almost like the moment that you remembered, he came in the room. Except his face changed into that creature that you're seeing in front of you. And when he changes back, it's almost like that memory comes back to you. And he attacked you. It wasn't the wolf. It was this thing. Came after you. Threatened to kill Parno if you said anything. And it's sort of like you come back into the room again at that moment. And now he's like, this creature is just standing there before you. You were terrified as a child. How are you feeling right now?
Confused.
This creature has been following you since you were ever since the moment you were brought here. Brought to Absalom, brought to the academy. This creature has been watching over you, changing its shape whenever necessary, and whenever you regained your memory, she starts jabbing at him again and again and again as different forms are coming, and finally she gets the form obviously she was waiting for, and you see Viola. It would take my shape and come to you and explain to you that you're special, and tell you that you had to go back to the academy, because it's true. It's what I would do if I ever returned. But the difference between myself and it is that I would never tell you to gain that power within you, because I knew full well what it is.
Being told you're special is powerful bait.
But that's going to work against them, because that's been their plan. Go forth, act as the shapeshifter acts as me, brings you all back to the academy. Either one of two things happen. Either the other part of you awakens as you bring back the power, or you return to the academy and they restore your memories as they see fit. Well, we're going to do just that. We're going to bring you back to the academy, and I'm going to lead you there.
And they'll think it's him.
Exactly.
The goal being Hamish still?
Hamish. But not just Hamish. There are some things that need to be done there, things that I cannot talk to you about, but Hamish is our main target.
What's your what then? What after,
You mean what happens after we get Hamish?
Yeah, what happens if everything goes exactly according to plan, beautifully, where we save Hamish, we're the heroes of the day, what then?
We're not heroes yet. But then you train. The only way for you to be able to remain a separate entity is for you no longer to be a copy, to be a secondary piece of yourself. You need to be yourselves. Whatever it is they trained you in, however it is they trained you to be, is in part what you once were, or supposed to be. I know that's confusing, but I don't know how my father and grandfather figured out what you were supposed to be, much less that you were a part of all of this. But they had to train you to become the thing that you needed to be. I don't know the reasons why, only that you were it was necessary. So, but then to twist that training. What we need to do is find what feels more natural to you and try as best I can to restore you to what you should have been.
So how do we know you are real Viola?
And she hands you the rod. Puts out her hand.
Oh, Jamin, the
It'll hurt, but it won't put me out.
widescreen.
Oh.
I
She just sort of like, she judders a bit, and you can see the shot come off,
Yeah.
but she just kind of clenches her teeth.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry, Viola.
Do not be sorry. Not after everything I've put you through. Come with me. She walks out of the room. Hey, Parna.
I kind of kick at the rod as I'm.
Parna.
Lambert? Isn't it?
Parna. Seriously, you gotta get me out of here.
Working on it. Honest.
What's going on?
That's the other part I'm working on. I keep...
I go pick up Ralph.
Okay. Are you gonna do it to you can't do it to Viola, but you can totally do it to Lambert. And he kind of falls to the ground.
I'm sorry, but yes, now that I know, I will come back and save you.
He's just sort of flopping around a little bit.
So you know that part about not necessarily giving in?
I was not giving in.
All right, so I'm assuming this is as you're walking
Yeah.
out, and Viola's just standing there, and she's just looking at you all, and she peeks in the room, pushes out the thing to close the door. He's not one of them.
He bashed my head into a wall. Okay, I
He's-
need check.
It looks like she wanted to say something, but sort of held back, and just shakes her head and goes back into the armory. And she continues handing. She goes back to handing you everything. Put on the armor. You.
He looks like he's more interested in what she's about to hand him than the weapons themselves.
She kind of goes through and first she's reaching for like a rapier and stops. Kind of looks at you
I don't think I'm proficient in rapier actually.
and grabs a short sword
Oh yeah, okay.
and just sort of hands that to you.
I take it, draw it like part way.
It's pretty basic. It's not very special or anything like that, but it's a decent weapon, it seems. You don't seem to know a whole lot about weaponry. Like
No.
even when you're holding in your hand, there's nothing
I was-
from you
when
that's
I'm
like
opening it to look at it, I'm play acting. I'm just playing the part.
okay. And then yeah, I was gonna say there's one right there.
Seems good.
She kind of looks you over, grabs some grabs a cloak and some clothing like that's a little more elaborate than what you're currently
They
wearing.
took away my dagger, right? The
Yeah,
wrist sheath?
yeah.
May I have my dagger back?
Goes over, grabs, and hands you the strap dagger.
Thank you.
Keep it hidden though.
Always.
And then, but the clothing is a lot more finery. I believe these are more to his tastes. A lot of darker colors, dark blues, and things of that nature. And there's also padded, like it's almost like a padded armor that goes on underneath the clothing.
Am I getting any sense of amusement or Like satisfaction.
Satisfaction, yes. Although you do get a feeling like as you're looking at it, you're almost kind of feel like, oh, the silk is of like a really low quality. The like, you know.
You're so elitist.
Only the best.
For you, what weapon would you want to have eventually? Like as far as like darts or quarterstaff or what for actual Mishka?
Staff and a dagger.
Staff and dagger. All right. You're not getting that today. That's the whole reason you have to get the weapons she would have had, but I hadn't actually thought about that. So she basically goes in and pulls out what look to be these giant-looking darts. I mean, you've played darts before, like at the inn and other places, but they're usually much smaller. These are heavier and more weighted, and the point on the end is much thicker. And it looks like it could really hurt if you got hit by it. And she hands you 3 of those.
I also had dagger when you kidnapped me.
Your dagger is not hidden. And Mishka does not wear one.
What do you mean? I have dagger when you kidnapped me.
You wear a dagger. Mishka does not wear one.
Could we come up with another name for these other cells? Because it's really...
But they are ourselves.
They are. And unfortunately, they do have the exact same name. The Mishka that you are going to have to pretend to be for us to go in there does not wear a dagger.
I see. Okay.
Pulls out robes and she sort of grabs them, and you see that the clothing that she pulls out isn't exactly like hiding a whole lot.
You got bikini on.
No, it's more just like thin threads with like very little underneath it that's doing much and things of that nature. So it's not like
A slut
like
the
it's not
side, I'm sure.
slutty, but it's also
A
it
little
looks like
slutty.
something you'd see a priestess Callistra wear.
Yeah.
And she's sort of looking at it and looking at you and almost uncomfortable herself with the outfit.
Oh, Callistra.
Callistra, she runs brothels.
Think of
Gotcha.
Firefly.
Yeah,
you're
yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
So yeah, it's more along those lines of revealing, not along the it's not
Not
tasteless. It's
whorish,
just
but
right.
slutty.
yeah, like a companion, like their kind of clothes, where it's revealing but not, you know,
Sexy,
like
not slutty.
you got it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Question for you. And you can play this either way you want as a GM. Parno is left-handed. Is Parno right-handed? Like how far does
No,
it
no,
split?
no. That
How deep is the
doesn't.
split?
Your handed remains exactly the same. So you're actually that's a really good question. You're left-handed.
Yeah.
What's your character? Left or right-handed? I was left. Okay.
She's a witch. She'd be left.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, the
That's
left-handed weirdos.
If we're all going left, I think everyone should just be left. I
Right.
think that would be an interesting sort of trait.
It's like, is that the one? No. She's right-handed. Darn it! He's not gonna change fate.
Well, we lefties, we have a tendency of doing that. So, for you though, yeah, she has that outfit. And she kind of looks at you like she's almost like embarrassed to even ask you to wear it, but she just kind of hands it out to you.
What if I get cold?
She's looking at you like that's the craziest thing you've ever said to her. She just shakes her head and turns away, and you see that she walks over to like what looks like some giant suit something with a tarp over it and pulls down the tarp, and there's the Hell Knight armor. And she looks over at Corwin, and Corwin does not look too happy to see it. With the other 3, they never had an opportunity to regain their things. You're going to have to go in wearing everything that he would wear.
Looks like a comfy fit, Corbin.
He gives you the glarest of glares and walks over to the armor.
It's not the worst.
Yeah, Corbin, you look badass.
I'm going to destroy this thing when it's all done. He looks at Viola and looks back and begins putting it on.
Can I go change in a different room, please?
Come with me.
Thank you.
I
I don't care if Chris comes, but the men need to stay here. Thank you.
She takes you out through that other room that you had sort of passed through.
Okay, so important question. Is Chris coming or is it just me and Viola?
I mean, I'm just throwing on armor.
Yeah, she's not really changing.
Like, I'm wearing the same clothes. You
Okay.
add layers.
Yep.
Okay.
As many layers you can.
Alright,
you don't
so
get stabbed.
as I'm walking with Viola then, and we're alone once they're out of the way. So Viola, do you remember killing my dad? Or did one of these creatures kill my dad?
By the way, you're in the bunk room
Okay.
where you had woken up. She kind of rests herself while you're changing. She's not really looking. She's sort of looking away, and she's rested herself up against the wall. I was the first, as far as I know.
You mean like us?
She knows. I've gotten control over who I am, but she's still there. I don't remember anything about the things she's done. I don't know. I wish I did. The most that I know about is... The only reason I even remember anything is that because of the fact that the machine on anyone who has elven blood, the barriers dissipate on their own.
Is Viola half elven?
No, she doesn't have the ears or anything.
What do you mean? You don't look elven.
But my son is.
Would you drink his blood when he was born?
No, that's a
No.
blood, mom, baby blood connection.
I was his
thing.
mother, and he was within my womb for 9
Yeah, that's
months.
the
It's
thing.
why blood type's important, because if it's the wrong blood type, the mother's body will
It's
kill
okay.
the child.
Krista did not. Krista was
Yes,
unaware of
Kristen
that.
was unaware that that's
Yep.
how
Yeah,
pregnancy
that's
worked.
how-
And slightly embarrassed that the guys in the room did. Like, really?
When
the
you
fuck?
Yeah.
when you get married, part of the license and certification is you have to know your blood type. If you are the wrong type with your husband, you
Yeah.
can't have kids.
Are you
can.
serious?
No, you can. You just have
You
to.
can, there's a lot of stuff they
RH
have to do,
factor and things
so-
you have to do, yeah.
Your body
I had
attacks
no
the baby's blood
idea.
type, thinking it's a disease.
But now they have
So-
medications and things. But yeah, it's important to know because then
Yeah, that
they
used to be
know-
a lot of kids. In fact, in third world nations, a lot of kids die for that very reason, because they don't have that. That's why the fetal death rate
Yeah.
went way down for us. Is mainly that. So
God,
The
I had
more you
no
know.
idea. Wow, I just learned something really cool. And
It's
now,
kind of cool and also kind of creepy.
yeah,
as she's, can I listen to someone speak and sense motive at the same time?
yeah, of course.
All right, I'm sensing motive as she talks. Fuck. 10.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, she's not hiding anything as far as you can tell, but you know, I mean, she's pretty obviously like
Being honest.
not just being honest, but also kind of ashamed, I guess would be the right word for it.
Okay. Sorry, Viola, you can finish now. Crystal
It's
was
okay.
confused.
It's alright. Well, your character might have been confused too.
But that's a good point.
Misha probably would not know how babies work.
If,
That is very true.
if it wasn't
That is a good point.
if it wasn't for
Mishka's a virgin.
if it wasn't for my son, I likely would never have remembered anything. And unfortunately, the amount of blood I have is small, so it took time for it to come down. Hamish, on the other hand, I have no idea what's going on with him. For him, the walls that you have would not exist. That's probably why he's still at the academy. He can't just be merely put out, but I do know that he has traveled with you when you have been a team, but for me to go after him at that time would be the most dangerous thing you could think of. And he doesn't return back into my Hamish until he returns to the academy. If I did kill your parents, know that I am more than sorry, and I don't think even saying sorry could... I don't even know the words that I could say, but know that I will do everything in my power to make it right.
Did I ever turn like I saw Chris and I saw Porno, I saw Corvin?
More recently, you've only been who you are right now for maybe 2 hours within a day. the rest of the time you've been her.
Well, maybe I'm not a virgin then.
Oh no, you would be. There are certain things she couldn't do until you were dead.
Okay then.
Well, it would be a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Oh. Not if Mish goes so naive, she didn't know her. Sorry, go ahead.
Tomorrow, around this time, you would have been no more. The intention was that your mind would just go.
You mean no more like...
Who you are right now would no longer have existed. And all that would remain was what is within you. And you feel a great joy inside of you at that thought.
Thank you, Viola.
No. I never want you to say that to me ever again. I know the things that I've done, and I will make up for them. I deserve no thanks. None. Do you understand? Do you understand? Please, just don't.
I'm not thinking you for...
I'm going to let you change. She walks out of the room. Get dressed?
Oh, I assumed I was doing that while she was
Well, I
talking.
know, but finish up and...
Yeah, I finish, and I imagine I'm probably gonna walk out, you know,
Okay.
arms kind of...
when you come out, Viola isn't the one waiting for you. It's actually Dunois.
Which makes me pull everything even
Oh.
closer.
Oh my, how lovely.
Gross.
Please. I'm so uncomfortable.
Here. He grabs a blanket. Go on.
Thank you.
I'm going to be taking over for a moment.
Let me teach you how to act.
Done what? I'm sorry about earlier.
He kind of shrugs. It's understandable. And I apologize for losing my own temper. Come, this way. While you're in the room, you kind of notice that there's this goblin in the room. He's got like a head like this that almost seems to be shaped like a football.
And I didn't notice this before taking my clothes off.
No, actually he wasn't in the room when you were doing that.
Oh, okay, okay.
He's only in there now. And it's like this huge mouth with like, and you can kind of see him and look at him. He opens up his mouth and smiles, and it's just jagged teeth.
Gross.
And he's got one eye that just keeps doing this, and he just occasionally just kind of... And he seems to be, in his hand, he has these like chemicals in like little vials that he's walking with.
Is he a goblin alchemist?
And
wow, the best kind.
And the whole time Dunois is kind of looking at him as he's kind of walking across from there and into a different door, carrying these chemicals, right? And Dunois is just looking at him, almost like terrified, like he's trying to stay as far away in the room from him,
That's probably
and like
where
grabs
the
you and
explosion
pulls
came
you a
from.
little further away.
What was that?
That? Well, his name is actually disgusting, so we just called him Ghost because of the paleness of his skin. And also because of really what does not remain. But,
So he's more sane than most goblins.
Yeah.
but he's well read and makes excellent weapons, so we sort of keep him around for that.
He's really good at blowing things up. That's clearly what he's trying to say.
Yep.
Well,
That's the
Okay.
explosion.
Yeah, right? That has to be. Does he have like charred little whiffs of hair?
There's probably like none left.
Yeah, right, like,
He's just
it's like-
completely
looks like
bald
he's
of any hair that he
smoking.
once
I'm
had.
seeing like Yoda hair.
Mhm.
I was thinking like Homer Simpson and like when it like kind of want to like lights on fire and it's all like singed.
So when you come back in the room, Corwin is already fully in the armor except for the helmet, and it's just sort of sitting on the table next to him, and he's got the weapons and everything around him.
Tarno's in his element because he's instructing everyone how to act. Like he's talking about, remember, you are you, but you're you playing what you're wearing. Like let the clothes guide you, or the weapons, whatever. This is Remember, this is your path, your story. You choose how it goes.
And every word he speaks, I just kind of clutch tighter and tighter on the
You're going to
blanket.
have to embrace that at least externally once we're doing what we're doing.
This is very pretty blanket.
It is.
We have done our own reconnaissance upon each of you. I think you have a good sense of who they are, at least to some extent. But I will tell you a few things. Number one, Parno does not speak much.
Why not?
He only speaks...
He looks really, really dismayed.
It
I'm
seems...
really gonna be like,
It seems as though he gives most of his orders mentally.
Okay. So I have to act like I know what they're doing.
you have to not talk. That's going to be really hard for you.
He does speak, but when he does so...
It's
it's
like
very...
the one time I had to make a joke.
When he speaks, it's very short, to the point, and commanding.
And probably usually just to his adversaries.
Yes.
Okay. Hold on, I'm trying to get a mental picture here.
And keep in mind that he is probably the most prideful creature that I have ever seen walk this earth. Now, the shadow that he carries around himself is not always there. It's only there in front of his enemies. But where you're going, you won't need to worry about that. I don't think you could actually do that anyways. But the clothes you're wearing should be fine enough. Christiana. She is quiet, but eerily happy.
I'm doing the good work. The good work.
She seems to really enjoy her position. But she always is near Parno, and does pretty much anything he says, which goes for most of you, except for you.
It's because of your cat.
Actually,
Yeah,
your cat,
Bane!
and the way in which your cat acts, I would say just copy that and you will be fine. Rub up against pretty much anything that appears. Taste strange things that you're not sure what are.
Excuse me, did you just tell me that I should rub up against things?
I realize now that it is probably not the best thing to have told you. I was merely talking about a cat. And it's not that I'm saying that you need to go and it's not, can you please take over this? Viola was really supposed to be doing this part, and
Wait, I don't understand. Why does Christiana understand what you're talking about?
I don't necessarily.
but you're a girl. You
Right, I understand what you're trying to say.
Well, she
and
teaches
he's
kids.
trying not
Maybe
to
some
say.
kids are like that.
So you know the girls down on the corner of
I really need to be-
Market and 3rd Street.
What?
Basically implying like all the, you know,
the red light
I
district.
Red light district?
understand the...
act like them.
Have I been walking around the city like this?
No.
Yes, he's lying. I don't even.
I
That
don't
is a
even need
lie.
such bottom. I can see on his face.
It's not. It's not. It's not that you've. It's not.
Okay, the blanket is going like this now.
All right,
You have to.
Corwin. So basically, you
people.
and Christiana, for the most part, the two of you have worked mainly as a team. Mishka, you have always been the sort of outlier of the group. You do your own thing. You'll follow orders, but sort of begrudgingly.
You're the independent agent.
Of a sort, but still. And whenever you get out of, at least from what we've seen, the few times that we've seen you kind of fall out of orders, you become far more terrifying. You don't treat her necessarily the same way you do these two, but more as though she was just as much an enemy.
Rivals?
Not rivals, no. I don't think that Parno within you cares for her much.
Because you can't control her.
Your blanket's undermining your existence.
You don't look very fearful.
And finally, Corwin, the two of you tend to never be apart. You work terrifyingly well as a team. Where you have speed, he has the strength, and you tend to work more together, while Parno remains apart and watches over everyone like a general on a hill.
Probably, yeah. It's kind of...
Now, you're not going to need to take on this role until such time as you actually make your way into the academy. For the most part, we're going to be able to get you close enough through the sewers. So for the moment, you need not worry, but I'm certain that Viola will let you know when the time is.
Are we going to do something about the... Oh.
Viola comes back into the room. She seems to have composed herself again. She taps on to his shoulder. You should probably gather the others and get on your way. Oh, yes, work to do. Things to be done. We all have our missions, right?
Others? What is going on?
Unfortunately, I really can't tell you the other plans.
Well, the city's about to fall, remember?
We don't know that necessarily.
Well...
It was a pleasure meeting you all. Hopefully I see you again.
Denois?
Are you sure about that?
Until next time.
It takes off. Are you ready?
No, but
You can see through the doorway that he goes into the room with the secret door room, and he's walking with Lambert. Like, so while, as you're talking, this is going on, that Lambert's kind of, he's leading Lambert out the door.
Okay.
Is Lambert going to be okay?
My hope is that he's at least had enough time in here so that what lies within him is suppressed, but I can't be sure.
does
So-
he have the same thing?
He doesn't have another person within. Just like I said, he just has... oh, that's right. It was wrong person that said it. He doesn't have the same thing as you. There's not another person. He has a conditioning that can be awoken at any moment in time to have him do whatever it is that my grandfather needs done.
How does he not know about this?
Lambert?
Or does he?
Because your memories aren't the only ones that were changed by them. Let's...
Oh, that's not part of the... Okay.
Let's go. I'll tell you upon the way. We need to get into the sewers. We are on a bit of a schedule right now.
So, did I ever actually stand up for Lambert? Or did we... When the boy was kicked out of school, was that actually... How'd that happen?
Is that where you wish for me to begin? I know there's plenty. And at this point, you're kind of making your way through, like, out that door, through another door, and then there's basically, like, a series of levers that she pulls. And it's almost like a drainage section kind of moves, like it's a cylinder, that basically then creates another passageway that leads into, like, the main sewers themselves, where the majority of the smell is.
Lovely.
You're telling us that our life stories, quite literally, are lies, and that there's another story that we don't know. So, I'd like to... I know who I am, regardless of all these things you people are trying to tell us.
And that's good.
Right? Excellent. Good. Strong convictions. But everything else everyone it seems is trying to undermine. So I'd like to know what...
Who you feel like you are is you. And do not think that anyone of us, at least, is saying otherwise. Do you remember when you were younger and you used to lie all the time?
No. He smiles, so it's like...
Do you not realize that you no longer do that? You're more honest with people, you're upfront with them, you can lie, but you haven't. The entire time I'm assuming that you've been within that inn, you haven't.
There's no need. When I tell a story, there's an audience
A story
already.
is different from a lie. A story typically is actually more truth than lie. Because even if it's something you're trying to tell, there's some hidden truth within it that you're trying to reveal.
Shouldn't a proper lie be the same?
That aspect of yourself, the lie, when you're a child, it should have grown and turned into something else. Instead, what happened is it was removed from you and placed into your other half. That other half isn't merely some other person. That other half is you, or portions of you. My grandfather took all the pieces that made up you and picked the ones that he wanted, isolated some of them from other portions. For instance, your other half is driven beyond anything I've ever seen. Yet you have remained in the same inn, in the same place, for most of your life.
I tried to join the Pathfinders that one time. And the other time.
But you did not choose to put on armor and go become a Pathfinder or even an adventurer yourself. You had no drive, not without someone else, an organization or otherwise, to lead you towards that. He has that. So while you're right, you are you, they are also you. Just you twisted and turned to darker purpose.
So you're saying that the more I take the initiative or the more I lie, the more whole I become? It looks kind of like...
And that is where the problem lies. Because if you become and take on more of them, right now they are stronger than you. That means that they overcome you and you become them. And the best case scenario in that case would be that they absorb what little you have within there, but still remain corrupted and dark. And it may even give them the freedom to break free of my grandfather, but not in the way I think you would desire. And suddenly at her saying that, it's probably the worst thing she could have said, because you feel that part inside of you, like almost like realizing.
Do you think we were the bullies at school and not Lambert?
The memories you have at school, for the most part, are true. There are certain rules that apply to what he can and cannot do. Number one, emotions always have to be maintained. No matter what, if you feel afraid, you have to have something there within the memory that's changed that still feeds towards that. Two, things cannot truly be erased, not without causing problems. Occasionally there are some things that will be erased, but they'll be more painful. And because of the erasure, it increases the chance that you can awaken from it. You may have memories that come back to you, and you may realize some things, but you may not even know what they are. There might be something missing. Unfortunately, those create, it's almost like hiccups. So if you ever go back and you're thinking upon a day, it always creates a problem. My grandfather tends to do that sparingly, using instead of shifting things, altering images. So the memories that you have are true. The emotions that you have are true. The feelings you have for each other, the feelings you have for the school. But when you go to sleep, they wake up. It has not happened, it only began happening when you were 12. Before that time, your memories are your own. Maybe turned, maybe altered, and my hope is that now that you have the objects, restored.
Why does, and he's pulling the scarf around his neck, or is it under, like, did we conceal it? Like under the...
Yeah, it'd be concealed underneath.
Okay. So point where it is. So, what's the significance of my mother's scarf, beyond a scarf?
It serves two purposes. One, it is something that is close to you. Two, because it's something that is close to you, it was something used by my grandfather as a method for creating the barrier in the first place. He then kept it himself. I was able to retrieve them and get them back to you. By having them, they act as sort of a restoration of sorts. My great-great-grandfather used to do it where you would sort of have someone be able to face their darker halves, but then give them back the object, and they would be able to be restored, and after time it would go away. The problem is you're going to need the objects for longer than merely a moment. You're going, because of the fact that the separation has lasted for years. It could take anywhere from hours to days, and hopefully not, but weeks. It took me nearly a month for for the barrier to be fully down, but I have been within it for longer than you.
So when the barrier's down, we get to talk to each other?
Of a sort. The two of you will be within there, but the object, so long as you have it on your person, also gives you, since you are the originating, power. If you were to hand me the object, they would begin to have influence. Do you understand?
Despite the fact this is all very interesting, when we do get to the academy, what exactly are we supposed to be doing? I mean, is this a stealth break-in of Hamish, or...
We're going to walk in the front door.
Okay.
I'm going to escort you to where they would take you to have things restored. And then we're going to play it by ear.
Okay.
So Corvin, you're going to break whatever equipment they try to restore us with, eh?
I have someone on the inside. Someone who has been helping me. They're not necessarily in a position of great power, but they have at least given me an idea of locations and other things. Also within my own memories, I remember certain places. I am also hoping that each of you begins to remember some things.
The house mother?
Mainly the house mother.
I was asking if that's the inside. The one who's in charge of the dorms.
I'm sorry, but after the fire, she died.
I'm searching my memories for that.
You have a moment, and as you're flashing, everyone else sort of like starts doing the same, like almost like it's something kind of sets it off. But you're all you're in a room, each of you strapped down, and there's 6 of you in the room. And Vankoff is sort of looking over everyone. Do you have any idea the difficulties that I'm going to have? And you see Cassandra is sort of with him.
So
And this is initially.
Yeah,
Jiang is the other.
Jiang is there, yeah.
Okay.
And you're all strapped down, and you're all kind of like you all have muzzles on and everything else. When I told you to remove them from the school for the brief times they were supposed to be gone, it was so we could get the creature back into its cell, not so that you could take them to the library of Nethys. Do you have any idea the difficulties you have caused? Mind you, with a little time and a little patience, I will get them all right back on track. I'm terribly sorry, Master Vankoff. I did not realize that they were going to ask for additional You should have had an eye on them at all times. And unfortunately, while my patience with them is as strong as ever, my patience with you has come to a bitter end. And he basically just reaches up his hands and just kind of looks at her and just kind of waves a hand, and she just disintegrates. Useless anyways. Now, back to you. And he comes up to you, Parno, and he just pushes like hair away from the top of your head. Ah, my favorite little subject. How are we today? Are you feeling well? You're going to feel... He slaps her on the face. Much, much better than I am done. In fact, both of you are going to feel much, much better. And you come back. Now, all of you saw it. All of you were there in that moment. Did you just remember something? Like, you realize you've just been standing there, and she's staring at each of you.
For the first time in the entire... Since all this started happening, you see, like, Parno's sort of self-assurance kind of falter.
What did you see? Wait, did all of you see something? Did you see the same thing? Did you see something different? I need to know, did you see anything inside of the academy?
I think it was inside the academy.
Okay, where were you?
In a room?
Strapped to chairs.
Okay. Is it a difficult memory for you to recall? Because if it isn't, I'm going to have to ask you to try to remember things in the room that you were in.
He killed the house mother.
I know. Where were you? What was happening? Please.
He said,
Did you see the machine?
No, just the
no.
chairs.
But he said that we would. He looked at Parno and said, "You will both feel better." But he looked only at Parno.
Why don't you give me a sense motive? And you can, any one of you can actually at this point, but
19.
Nice.
Let me see here. No wait.
Oh, what are you? Wow, that's a weak throws there. That's terrible.
Nope. That's
Yeah, I'm gonna
that's
Go
not.
to
That was
one.
actually really
Actually,
poor
let's
of me.
let's show the players. All right, because you're more important than me.
That was only an 11.
Yeah. Okay. At your mentioning of saying that, she just sort of like it's almost like she knows something, but just kind of pulls it back and continues talking. The chairs you were in.
Wait,
What was in front of them? What was behind them? What was around you in the room?
why do you need to know this? What do you know?
I'm not exactly certain where the machine is. But if you could tell me a door, a wall, anything that might give me some indication of where it might be. Do you try concentrating on it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I would try.
Give me an intelligence roll.
Part
These
of-
are safe memories because they're yours and existed before he ever came into before they ever came into existence.
Oh, there it is.
Really? Okay. 7.
The memories kind of over this
Yeah.
are of you like mourning and helping out and like cleaning and doing all that kind of stuff. The feelings are similar. Like you're afraid, but you were afraid then too. You remember
Right.
being afraid of like with future, what's to come, all that sort of stuff. And it's all there here.
Nope. 8.
Okay, so you got an 8. What'd you get?
7.
There's, he's his mind is elsewhere right now. He was feeling it in his eyes. He says, "There's no sand." And he's looking at Viola almost accusingly. "There's no sand."
What are you talking about?
So, give me a moment.
She kind
I'm
of
backing away a little bit.
and she takes a step towards you. Parno,
So,
Parno, look at me. She takes a step close and basically puts out her arms.
he actually grabs her wrists.
Parno,
Who is Vankov?
my grandfather.
What is he?
Something too dark to imagine. His father made him by accident. I told you the story before. And my grandfather has been trying desperately to create himself again. And he sees himself in you.
He throws her arms away. What did he do? Not talking to you.
All the parts that he took, somehow he found pieces that he felt were similar to himself. You're his prize.
Are we going there to kill him?
I want to, but I don't know if we can. I'm hoping, but I don't think we can do it.
Well, we can certainly try.
Parno,
Lead on.
Parno, I need to know what you saw. I need you to
He
look.
disintegrated her.
She kind of like stops for a moment and like regains herself. Parno, I need to know what else was in the room. I need you to concentrate, please.
And roll.
I need you to look.
Significantly
I
better
need you to
than the
roll a
rest
really
of
good
us.
roll.
Yeah.
Intelligence?
Yep.
7 plus 1, so 17.
You concentrate, and it's almost like it's rewinding and replaying in your mind, and you just see her turning to dust again and again. But you see a door. It's a door that's metal with like a circular marking, and then there's another circle inside of it, and just sort of a line through both.
There's a door with 2 orbs and a line crossing between, bridging them.
I know the door.
So while he was
Round mantle threshold.
scaring the shit out of me,
Parno, I need to
sense
do
magic.
something. Parno, I need to do something right now. I'm terribly sorry. I need to do something to all of you, and we only have a moment to spare. I need to do it quickly, and I need your permission. I can't do it to you again without it. I need you to not remember.
If you want me to act as a leader or to have this strength,
Just
I need
that
the
moment,
memory.
just the memory. That memory you can keep, but what you remembered of the door has to go. And that I know it. It has to go. Please.
Once. Then never again.
I promise you I will restore it. But for now it has to go.
But I don't remember the door.
But he mentioned it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's more talking about this moment than prior.
Okay. Roll. Basically, your roll is a 1.
Okay.
As long as you agree to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. That's fine.
So
I want to
the roll
detect
is a 1.
magic on him.
So the way it plays out for you then is that, and you'll remember later, but for right now, for your memory.
Oh, it doesn't matter because I will have blocked out whatever I detected.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
So when you roll a 1. Basically, you failed, and you couldn't remember it, and then we continue on from there. So that whole conversation after the roll never took place.
Okay.
But it will later.
Up till that point, it did. So the anger's still there, and there.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
So let's just play this through again.
Okay.
Parno, were you able to see anything?
Nothing. Just Vankov.
Let's continue. Do you have survival?
I do.
You can't make this roll, unfortunately.
Hold on. It's a. Oh no, I do not. I have a
I do.
compass that gives me a bonus, so that's why it's in there.
Is it? But yeah, don't you naturally have survival? Like at least like a bonus to it, or is that
Just
trained?
plus 0 is +2 circumstance bonus to avoid income and lost.
Roll with a +2.
Okay. 7.
Okay. All right, so you continue on, and she kind of remains silent for a little while longer at this point. And you get to a grate that she's sort of standing underneath.
Oh, excellent! Just great.
Did you actually say that? Is your character in a joking mood at this point?
No,
Or?
he didn't.
Okay.
Like, I'm not sure Pono really is a punster.
Can I just steal that and give it to Corwin?
That would be great.
That I can totally see Corin.
Yep.
Sort of more
It's sort of like, oh, that's just, what was it? That's just great?
Oh, excellent. Just great.
Oh, excellent. Just great. Sorry, Arno.
I ignore him.
It
Well,
just seemed like something you'd say. Wait for me. I'm going to scout it out. I'll be right back.
So I forgot to say before, but I assume I left Nikita back at the room, but
No,
but
there's
Bane
no way.
came. Why
No,
would I
they'd both
bring
be
a-
with. They'd both be with
Really?
you.
Why
They'd
would I
have to
bring
go
my
with you.
Because
pet?
you're not without them. They're like your little...
You could
But
probably-
I think Nikita's
Actually,
a pet, so
Nikita has to come with because you may not be able to get back there. Is the problem?
Oh, okay.
So if that's the case, then we can just say that Viola is carrying Nikita.
Well, no. If Nikita has to come, then I would be carrying Nikita.
Hold still a moment. Cast a spell. Prestidigitation. 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 You want?
I guess so.
Okay. So the sewer smell's gone. Anything we picked up on the way over. Just
All right.
clean it right off.
Dude, why didn't you do this sooner?
He's been doing it. He did it
I
in the other
forgot I
series.
had it.
I forgot I could do that.
All right, so you're waiting for a while for her, like the grates, like kind of set to the side. You're waiting for a while for her to come. In 5 minutes, 10 minutes,
She said wait?
Mm-hmm.
15 minutes.
I'm just like stroking Nikita, who is laying across my neck.
It's been quite a while. At this point, Corin's sort of leaning up against the wall. There's really no place to sit. What do you got?
Maybe. Hold on. Shit, it's too late. Never mind.
Or a message or
Yeah, but she's already too far, so never mind.
she's not here in another minute. We need to find out what's going on.
I'm gonna look back at Bane. So, do you feel like contributing yet? Maybe you can go up and see what is going on.
Looks up. Looks at you.
He'd get out of the sewer.
Just is sort of like. And actually, she's probably been walking on a little thing on the side rather than being carried, like on the pipes and different things like that.
Oh yeah, I assumed Bane was walking on her own.
Yeah. Just sort of like. Kind of lays on one of the pipes and curls herself up.
Why do I bring you?
Kind of have to. Okay, so she's not coming.
She hasn't shown up, no.
So she went into the grate, right?
She went up, and out there you can see like there's some light. It's obviously like nighttime, but there's some light probably from the streets and things like that. You really weren't sure on time and how long you were out for or anything like that, but at least now you know it's nighttime.
There's that.
Does anyone know where we are?
You can look.
Yes, peek.
I'll go peek.
You're going up and peeking. You look around,
She's the best at hiding.
and you're actually in. You're not really sure where you are. It looks like this area looks like a lot of rundown buildings. And sort of like a few, like beyond a little while after, you can kind of see some flooded areas. It actually looks like more like you're in the puddles, which is down there.
Now, the school's out of Westgate, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, the school is up, up there in Westerhold. So if you look on that one, it's probably a little better. So Westgate is there, the purplish looking one, and then just across the wall is Westerhold, which is where your school is. So you're looking, and you're almost positive you're down in the puddles. Now it's very possible that she's taking you down there to go out because it's easier to leave the walls through the puddles. There's a lot of areas where the walls are like kind of broken and things like that, so it's easy to get out of the city and not be seen.
But that's a huge trip on the outside of the city then.
It is, but usually passing in and out through the city, you're going to be seen. It's going to be known. So you're not sure why you're in the puddles, but yeah, you're definitely down there.
Seems like we're in the puddles. I don't really hear or see. I don't hear or see people, right?
You seem to be in sort of like, I mean, it's like, think of like a ramshackle little area. You're kind of out in the area that might have once been like a town center, town square area. So it's a little bit open, and you can see that there's multiple little roads off to the side, but it almost kind of feels a bit like a dead town. The Puddles always has. There's a lot of homeless that live here and things like that, and especially since you're like look up and the moon's pretty high, so it's pretty late at night. Puddles does not have any guards who walk around except for where the jails are. So there's a lot of smugglers, a lot of thieves, things like that live here, but it's
probably
There's no
terrible part of town
footfalls
to be
though.
in.
I don't hear any footfalls.
What's that? No, you're not hearing anything. Actually, you know what? I'll give you a perception check because you might hear other things beyond just like where you are. So
it's probably a terrible part
That's
of
not
town to be in
mine.
the
Sorry.
sewer.
all right.
Probably a terrible part of town to be in the sewer.
That would be a 20.
20. All right. You're hearing some sounds off in the distance of people talking. You're pretty sure like that building has people living in it.
Okay.
You can see some light that looks like candlelight that's just barely flickering. But you're not hearing viola.
Okay.
And unfortunately, this is an area that looks like normally during the day it's probably trodden quite a bit. So there's a lot of footprints everywhere. So trying to find a track or anything like that is pretty impossible. But you do kind of get this weird sense of this place. Puddles has always been a little dark, but it just seems like there's more. It's really dark here, like especially like the alleys feel very like creepily dark and like it's almost like that opposing darkness, you know, that like just really. You are seeing though, just up ahead in that direction, what looks to be a red spot in sort of the dirt. Like, because the roads aren't paved, they're just sort of dirt areas, and in there you see like what looks to be something red.
Like blood red or. How far away is it?
About 10 feet.
From down below, responding to what you said. We're in the puddles?
Yeah, I think so. There's nobody really around. It's just very. I get the sense that it's very. That there's some sort of presence, or it's overwhelmingly different.
Maybe I should detect magic. Make sure that is really what you're seeing.
No, it's real. It's what I'm seeing is real.
How do you know?
Where's Viola?
I just do. I just know. Viola's not around.
Does anybody know where Viola was going?
I don't know. Did she just say? Did she say where?
Is there a good place to hunker down up above there? Up above on the street? Or just off the street?
No. We're sort of out in the open. I'm almost certain that I might be able to see more out there, but I don't know if you guys would blend.
I don't have message.
I have a message. I can stay with you and she can talk to me. Do you want to check?
No!
Oh.
But
I can go with her and then message back to
No.
you.
this area is definitely not one where you would want to go dressed like that. If you can like pick up on what I'm saying, this is like some dark shady where dark shady dudes are just hanging out.
And I really, really hate myself for saying this.
Then we
but
all go.
Perhaps I would fit in just fine, dressed like this.
Yeah, that's true.
I gesture to Corvin. No one's going to bother you.
I think it would be best if I went up last. And he's kind of moving his armor around.
I have idea. I pick up Bane and toss him up to Cristiano. Chris, catch him! Put him out there!
It's a good thing I'm wearing leather armor.
Tell him to go find Viola.
You just sort of, you like lift up again and like toss them up there, or?
No, because it's super obvious to see like a cat just come out of a sewer.
Well, no one's watching right now.
True, as far as I know.
Right.
Right. But if you're in like a shady area, the likelihood that a person's gonna come out of a sewer way more normal than a cat.
No,
I
because
suppose that's
right?
true. Yeah.
Right.
Why? Hold on. He would be down. She would be down there
But a
catching
cat
dinner.
cannot lift a grate.
Oh, right. No.
Yeah.
So
Then just put him out. He doesn't
So you're
have to be-
holding right now this cat who's just hissing and like scratching and.
making a ruckus.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I will catch him if you drop him.
Don't.
Let's see. What would I? No, I think I'm just gonna go out there.
Are you gonna drop the cat first?
Yeah.
Okay.
This cat is useless. And
Okay, I catch her. Even
All
though
right.
I'm angry
You know
at
what?
her,
I'm gonna make you through a dex check for that one.
what?
I know I hadn't made you roll for the other ones because I found it amusing for this one.
Oh God. 15.
Okay. Man, I wanted the cat to go in the dirty, gunky
Ha
water.
ha ha! I defeat the GM.
Not really. It was gonna be more funny than anything, but.
I don't know. I just felt like saying that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go out there.
Okay. Is anyone gonna follow?
Only if Corbin comes.
Give her a message.
He has to go last. He's too big and slow to be the first or even second or third.
No, I
And if he falls, he'll fall on you.
And that's very, very spiky armor.
It
Yeah,
does.
sorry, I misunderstood the question. Yeah, sure, I'll follow her.
Okay. You're gonna be second then?
Sure.
Okay.
First cast message. So.
We're all going together.
So message, the way that message works is not that you send a message to someone. It's actually how they were talking so vocally, like he was talking about. Message is something you cast on a specific number of people and it lasts for a certain amount of time. And it allows you to use subvocals to talk to each other. Like you can whisper and each other hears perfectly. But it's not like a message that you send, it's something you set up beforehand.
I'm moving this
It's like you
bag
setting up an
away
iron
from
chat
this
room for
candle.
10 minutes.
Right, but I thought, like,
And it costs you nothing.
That's
to
just
use it, so.
right, I guess the way we always used it in the last time I played Pathfinder was like, because you are not going to be like standing next to me, I'm going to cast message because you're going to be like over there. And I assumed the four
It's
of
also
us
excellent for silent operations.
would be like arm in arm.
Yeah, but if you're in combat, you're not always going to be standing right next to each other.
You just told us we're going to combat.
No.
Alright, then.
I'm just saying in general, and she's going up alone.
This sets precedent for the whole group too.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
so-
If you asked me to, okay, Mishka would not think of that, but if
I
Pardo
don't-
asks
I
her
don't know
to,
if-
she will.
Parno, I don't know if he knows you can do that.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So that's why I was.
All right, then you don't know. Well,
That's fine.
another time.
We are as a group. Well, we as this version of our group are still very much learning to work together. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so you go up there,
Yes.
and you can hear. And remember that you were up on top before you started, so you're up and you're going over to the blood or where?
So you're
Yeah,
going
I'm
just to
going
the top
over
of
to
the
the
grate so you
blood.
can watch
I'm
her?
not telling
No,
them
I'm just
about
gonna go
it.
follow out. I'm not too
Okay, it looks fresh.
We were
Right.
trying to figure. She said she's going to.
I mean, you can't tell much more than that about
No,
it.
because Corbin's coming
Um,
last.
Is there like cloth or anything? Like
She's
it's
going
just like
No,
a drop.
just
And then
it's
we were
actually
just gonna wait
about
until she said it's
that
clear,
big
then
of
we're
a
gonna
blotch. So
Okay.
it looks like more than a drop. Like it was a good
Okay,
amount.
Look,
I
there's
understood the
more
reality of this
beyond
situation
that.
very different than you. I
You
thought
kinda
all
look,
four of us were walking
like,
out,
searching
Corbin was
around.
going
It was
last.
proposed, but then it was ignored by
and,
the group. So
I am following her.
You
up
do
because
see a
that's what I
couple
thought
of
was
drops
happening.
heading down towards another
then
one of the
tell
alleys.
Jane.
I'm gonna go with the same perception. check.
Jamin, hold
Okay.
on. We're having a reality check moment because I'm understanding the reality right now differently than he is.
Okay.
So I thought all four of us were going out and walking toward wherever she is going.
To an extent, yes.
We were
but-
discussing doing that, but we never actually.
But you also like understand that you're not going to be a glob moving together, right? If she's got to search for things, she's going to step away from the group. If
Right, I understand that, but he just
She
asked
never
me
said
if
she
I
had
was
saw
stopping.
anything.
oh, that's true, but she didn't say
She
she
never
saw
said she
anything.
saw
So
anything.
we're good. We're just let's move on.
Okay, so no, I didn't stop at the top of the ladder because I'm following her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so she kind of moves up ahead, and you see that she's looking at something on the ground as you come out of the ladder, and I assume you begin heading towards her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll head up the ladder as well.
And then as you're coming up, all right, I need to do something real quick here. Let's make an attack roll.
What do I have against illusions? Because this might be alright.
What's your CMD?
My CMD is a 16.
Okay. So as you're kind of following some of the blots, and you're not like to the alley, but you are kind of like close up towards the buildings and things like that. From out of the sort of the shadows of the building, a figure reaches out, grabs you, and pulls you.
Can I react to that? Like,
Yeah, you will be able to
Okay.
in just a moment.
okay, all right.
That was that was the check to see if the grapple worked, and the grapple did. And unfortunately, you're also sort of surprised. You were not expecting that by any means. So let's start with. Okay, so there's that. Let's see. Spells. I need you to give me a fortitude save.
Seven.
From the shadows to your right, you hear some. I mean, you've seen enough people from Osiriani to know sort of the language and the sound of it, and you hear some Osiriani words being spoken from the shadows to your right. And it's almost suddenly you're sort of like your throat swells up a bit, and you find it really hard to speak. Or breathing's fine, but it's almost like your vocal cords have been like just sort of grabbed and twisted. And then Parno.
Yep. You shouldn't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
From out of as you're kind of making your way up, and you suddenly like first you see Christiana just disappear into the shadows, then you see her grabbing her throat like and almost choking a bit, and then like, this is as you're like standing up, and as you reach your foot up and you stand and you're solid, you hear from behind you your name.
Oh, I think I know it. Okay, I turn.
You turn, and it resplendent in full armor that's sort of black as night and blending into the shadows behind him, you see Valerian. His blade drawn, his shield at the ready. And he basically like lifts it up and began speaking a few words. Do you have spellcraft?
Yeah.
Why don't you throw me a spellcraft?
$14.
14?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bane.
This is Caster's Bane?
Basically, it's the opposite to bless. So what it does is it gives you negatives. So everyone negatives to different things. Now, I think there's a spell. Yeah, there's a save. So you are going to get a save. Yes.
Can we take a moment to pause?
Sure.